Hello, my name is Manic, and welcome back to my beginner series for Dirt Rally 2.0. In this video, we will take a look at all-wheel drive and the best way to drive these cars. All-wheel drive represents the pinnacle of rally racing. It is the de facto drivetrain for every top-flight rally vehicle since the 1980s. By combining all of the benefits of front-wheel and rear-wheel systems and adding a center differential, power can now be distributed evenly from start to finish through a turn. With better traction, acceleration, and the best suspension systems, all-wheel drive can almost feel like easy mode for those coming from the historical car classes. But make no mistake, while they may be easier to drive, it will require all of your driving skills to push these cars to the limit, as they are the most competitive against the AI and real-life players. This is not to say that all-wheel drive does not have its disadvantages. Whereas front-wheel and rear-wheel tend to be consistent in terms of how they handle, all-wheel drive classes can vary greatly in terms of handling. The difference between Group B and R5 is substantial, so having solid technique is critical in learning all the cars. The all-wheel drive class of cars is also the most expensive class in the game, as well as requiring the most driving time to upgrade engines. It's a bit of a double-edged sword. It will limit access and driving experience among a large range of cars, but at the same time, it encourages spending time with a single car and really learning its behavior. While not necessarily a disadvantage, modern all-wheel drive handles well, and it can lead to a false sense of security or driving ability. They are easier, but all the same driving concepts apply, and these cars are just as easy to crash. Driving them to the limit does require almost constant flat-out driving, which can be very intimidating coming from the slower classes. Just keep in mind the basic racing concepts, and you should start developing confidence soon enough. The final disadvantage is the complexity of tuning these cars. By now, you might be getting a better sense for how your car handles. It might be a good time to start learning about tuning, which I hope to tackle in my next video. What you'll find out is just how advanced these systems are compared to the other drivetrains. These are complex machines, and while this allows for a significant degree of customization, it can also be very intimidating. You should practice tuning on the historical cars before tuning all-wheel drive, so you can get a sense of what works and what doesn't. This can be a time-consuming pursuit, but very rewarding in the end. Piloting all-wheel drive cars for the most part involves applying all the tools you gain from the other drivetrains. So continue threshold and trail braking like you would in the other cars and maintain your racing lines. The all-wheel drive system will surprise you how much sooner you can brake and the fast acceleration out of corners. Pendulum turns can still be utilized, some more than the other cars, with only a slight variation. You will probably want to use the handbrake more often around tight hairpins. To initiate a handbrake turn, start off like you would a pendulum turn. Then pull the handbrake for up to a second and turn the car. The rear wheels should lock up and get the back end drifting. This maneuver can be initiated fairly late. If you look at Rallycross, you can see how late these drivers utilize the handbrake. Again, this technique is available to you, but try not to use it too much. Like with rear-wheel drive, you don't want to be spending too much time drifting. One last thing, let's talk about Group B. Though cheaper than most all-wheel drive cars and being a historic class, these cars are the most powerful and difficult cars to master. With loose restrictions, these cars feature absurd horsepower in a small package. They may be all-wheel drive, but they can be an absolute nightmare to drive. Furthermore, each Group B car has unique mods, and so they all drive differently from each other. They also introduce a unique mechanical problem: turbo lag. This makes the car deliver power unevenly. 1 second your revs feel stuck, and the next it's shooting you out of the corner like a rocket. This is the one situation where you should turn on clutch override in the assist menu so that you can push in the clutch around tight corners in order to maintain revs. This can be awkward on controller, so you can always just downshift and keep the revs up instead. Group B presents the hardest challenge in the game and requires a lot of mental endurance just like it does in real life. Take breaks when you can so you don't end up driving off a cliff. So that will do it for this video. See you in the next one, and drive safe.